Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Handmade by Ying with Donna. Today is October the 10th, 2022. This one here is a story about a mom, an advocate, a go-getter. So with that being said, this is her story. Metastatic breast cancer has not been easy, and I know there are many changes still to come, but I believe in using your suffering as a source of great strength. Turning pain into beauty and happiness takes time and the support and the love of people. I was born in Venezuela. My parents were both diplomats. We moved around every 2 years, and as a child, constantly moving seemed like the worst thing in the world. But as time passed, I realized these experiences allowed me to adapt to change easily, and to see change as an opportunity to grow and to learn. My parents decided to settle in Guatemala in the 1970s. There I met my amazing husband, my rock, and together we have 2 beautiful daughters. The eldest is 26 and the youngest is 13. We are still living in Guatemala when I first found the diagnosis of my first breast cancer. I had gone from my yearly checkup with my OBGYN. I suffered from cysts in my breast in the past, and during this checkup, I had 3 that were large and quite painful. My doctor advised removing them. Since they were so large, we'd have to bring in a plastic surgeon to do the operation. Reluctantly, I agreed. When the plastic surgeon and the doctor opened me up for the operation, they found a little black thing the size of a nail head underneath one of the cysts. They decided to continue the operation and explore both breasts. I tested positive for infiltration ductal carcinoma. One is never prepared to hear the news like that. My husband was devastated and worried, but composed. When we decided not to tell our youngest daughter because she was still at that time only 8. My eldest was just coming home from the university. So I shared the news with her. She was shocked and she was scared, but she tried to keep it together for her little sister. Forging ahead, my doctor strongly suggested an immediate radical mastectomy. We scheduled it for after Mother's Day so I could prepare emotionally and spend the time I needed with my family. This procedure was hard to accept, but I tried not to let it play mind tricks on me. A person is more than just a face and a body. A breast does not make me, nor does it define me. When I told my little one that Mommy would have to have her breast removed, she turned to me with a terrified face and asked, "Why, Mommy?" I told her, "Well, because my breast is sick. Don't worry. Mommy will get new ones." "That's even worse." "You will get plastic ones?" my daughter asked, and filled me with laughter. That was just what I needed in the moment. After my mastectomy and the removal of the 14 lymph nodes, I waited for the results of the biopsies in the lymph nodes. Waiting was one of the worst parts of this journey. It was a real test of your faith and of your convictions. Fortunately, my test showed that the lymph nodes were all clean and I didn't have to take the chemotherapy or the radiation. In 2014, my husband and I decided to migrate to the United States with our youngest daughter. Sometime later, after we were settled into our new home, I made an appointment with a primary care doctor for a regular checkup. During that checkup, I mentioned a hard little lump that I had on the side of where my mastectomy was. I was a little worried, but it was because of all the earlier tests had come back clean. But my PCP did not want to take any chances, and she ordered a mammogram and the breast ultrasound. Unfortunately, the results came back irregular, and he ordered a biopsy. When I went in for the biopsy, the radiologist told me that I needed more tests. I couldn't wait any longer, and I made him tell me what he was seeing. He thought it was metastatic breast cancer and that it had spread into my chest wall. I was shocked, and for the first time, I really had to consider the possibility of dying. Not as one day of a concept, but something much closer. My husband had came with me that day. I wondered if he could keep this to himself or by myself. My thoughts were all amiss. But when I saw him after talking to the radiologist, I just started crying and I had to tell him. He said, "We're going to get through this. I'm here for you, and this is our journey. It's not yours to walk alone." The biopsy came back positive, and I was officially diagnosed with HR+/HER2, metastatic breast cancer. Once again, I went through the emotional roller coaster, but I decided to collect my thoughts, control my fears, and I took charge of this diagnosis. My PCP referred me to my current oncologist, who also referred me to a surgical oncologist for genetic testing. My oncologist told me he was going to do everything that he could. I decided to wait until my family, that the cancer was back, until that we had a treatment plan in place. I didn't want them to ask questions yet that I did not have the answers for. Because surgery was not an option for me, my oncologist said he wanted me to try a first-line oral medication for postmenopausal women with HR+ and HER2 metastatic breast cancer called Ibrance. Taking it in combination with other medications, he told me about the possible side effects, including low blood count, fatigue, also a little bit of reading on my own. But I trusted my doctor, so I agreed with his suggestion. I began to take Ibrance. I did some of the serious and common side effects, including the low blood count, the joint pain, the thinning hair, and sometimes feeling sweaty and fatigued. I felt my oncologist, and we talked about this, but he said he was going to continue to monitor me. Other patients might experience some side effects, including, but not limited to. Once we had a plan in place, we talked to our family. This time I told my younger daughter. She realized that we hadn't told her about my first diagnosis, and she was very angry. It took a while for her to come to peace with that, and I wondered, did I make the right decision by not telling her? But you can't do it all right. Well, that's it. You can't go back. All I can do now is show both of my daughters that their mother is a true fighter and give them the example that they need to live up to. My experience with MBC has shown me that life is available for a limited time only. I wake up every morning and I thank God to be alive. I value the little things and try to make a difference helping other people whenever I can. I am very proud of the example that I'm setting for my daughters, and I'm happy to have seen all the sacrifices that we've made as a family have been worth it. My eldest just got her master's degree and came home to help run the family business. My youngest is growing into a bright, beautiful young woman. We're continuing to make memories together as a family. It hasn't always been easy, but cancer has made me realize the beauty and the value of things, which are in the end really the big things. So it's once again another story to tell you. A positive diagnosis is not a death sentence. Technology and the medicine and the oncologist, it's all there to work for you. So please, take these stories and set your appointment with your doctor. Get your mammograms. Do what it takes. The life you're saving could be your own. Take care. God bless, and I'll see you back in the next video.